Hello, I'm back with a brand new look, and this one's all about maximizing the eyes and lips. It has some nice glossiness to make the eyes look big and bright and the lips look nice and pouty. So it's really a great look to look pretty and flirty, but not like overdone, even though it does have a fair amount of makeup and plenty of steps, so we should really get started right now. I'm going to be applying this Hourglass Luminous Foundation with my Artiste brush. It has hyaluronic acid in it, which is one of those essentials for dry skin. It just sucks up moisture and helps your skin retain it better. It's what they use in those injectable fillers because it can just hold more moisture than anything else. So it keeps the skin nice and hydrated and plump. It's probably my favorite foundation for dry skin. Now, to conceal the darkness in my eye area, I'm using this concealer by Mercier, which is a little bit thicker, but it has nice coverage. I'm tapping it in with this brush, which has nice dense bristles, so it helps keep the coverage. And then I buff out the edges with the bigger foundation brush, which if you can only get one Artiste brush, I would go for that bigger one because it's just nice and big and dense and soft, and it helps get my foundation done really quickly and really effortlessly. To prime my eyelids, I'm going to use the Anastasia Pro Pencil, and I'm making sure to line underneath my brow all the way across too, because this will help me define the shape without having to use any color on my brow, so it helps keep the look a little bit more natural and softer because I don't want my brows to be harsh since this is a softer, girlier, flirty look. So the Pro Pencil is a primer and color corrector, but it's creamy, so I still want to set that. So I'm going to take these two shadows from the Tartelette palette and pop that on top so that our base isn't sticky and we can blend our other shadows on top of it really nicely. Then we're getting onto the brows, and I'm using the definer, and this has replaced the brow wiz for me. I really love it. It just makes it super easy to feather in your little hair-like stroke. After I put that base in with the pencil, then I go in with some darker brow powders on a stiff brush and feather in some more hairs. And this is just because I have really sparse brows. If you have pretty dense brows already, you don't really need to do this part. This is just gonna make it look more natural. Otherwise, you get that, what I call background brows, or it just looks like you have a background on your brow. You don't actually have hair. So then I just do this to make it look a little bit more natural. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of that Pro Pencil to my waterline so that the eyes stay bright and open. Starting on the eyes, I'm gonna go in with a couple of the foiled shadows by Makeup Geek. Whimsical is like this cool pale pink and really metallic, and I'm using the Sigma Cream color brush because it's dense and synthetic, so it really allows me to pack on color and get that metallic finish. Starry Eyed is a warmer champagne pink, and I'm putting that on the center of the eye, and I'm going in back and forth motions, up and down, because it just really gets that color in there and brings out that bright finish, since it's like a cream powder hybrid. And if you don't have a nice brush like this, you can use your finger, but with the brush you can be more precise. Then I'm gonna go in with this liquid rose gold eyeshadow, and I'm gonna put that on the outer corner, and this is mostly just as a base. It's really shiny and it'll stay in place for when I apply other shadows on top of it. When I blend some of the mattes on top of it, it's gonna give it like more of a velvet finish. If you don't have a liquid one, you can just use any metallic shadow, but it looks really cool and rich and multi-dimensional in person. And while it's wet, I'm just blending Starry Eyed back over the edge. Then I'm taking Makeup Geek's Creme Brulee, which is like a warm peachy brown, and I'm applying it with a short shader brush over the edges of that shape. Then I'm blending it out with a fluffier brush. And then I'm gonna pick up some more color on that same fluffy brush and blend it right up into the crease so that we have a nice diffused color on that lid. Then I'm going in with Makeup Geek's Cocoa Bear, which is a warm red toned brown. And I'm gonna apply that into the crease with an exact blend brush and concentrate it mostly in the outer corner. And then I'm just gonna blend that in with the previous brush. So now it's a very warm toned look, and when you use a lot of pinks and reds, it can make you look a little bit sick. So we're gonna go in with a purple from the Tartelette palette as a nice contrast. And I'm gonna deepen up this outer corner, starting on the lash line. I'm gonna smudge that out, and I'm gonna go on the outside edge of that shape and just apply some of that deep purple and into the outer crease. And I'm just using this cargo brush. It came with a palette of theirs, but just anything small and precise. And I'm just gonna slowly build a little bit more of that color, and it's gonna go on top of our liquid eyeshadow and give a nice velvety look. Rather, it's not gonna be matte and it's not gonna be shiny. It's gonna be nice and velvety in this crease to give it a lot of complexity and depth here. I'm gonna blend that out. I'm applying it in this kind of triangular shape in the outer corner. It's gonna go a little bit low in that outer crease, and it's gonna be high in the center of the crease so that it gives it this nice flirty look to the eye, nice and curvy. Then I'm gonna take Bitten by Makeup Geek, which is this beautiful red burgundy color, and I'm gonna apply that to the outer corner so that we can blend together our reddish tones and our purple tones so it's not a super stark contrast, and I'm doing it on a blending brush so we just get a light amount. Then I'm mixing the purple with some black, and I'm applying that in the outer corner in that triangular shape and on the lash line. Then I'm taking Bitten and I'm gonna smudge that into the lower lash line and blend that out with Creme Brulee. And then on an angled brush, I'm taking that first color, Whimsical, and I'm gonna really press that in between the lashes so that the eyes look really bright and open. It's just gonna make the eyes look bigger. Then I'm applying liquid liner to the top lash line. I'm using the Steel Estelle Day one. I'm not a big felt tip fan, but this is a good one because it doesn't skip. It's not a super dry formula. And I've had this one forever. The words have rubbed off, but it's still pretty sharp and you can get a good line. And I'm only applying that to the lash line. I'm just gonna smudge black shadow to the outer edge so that it looks a little bit softer in that outer corner. And then the lashes, I found these at Walgreens and I am obsessed with them. They're so pretty. They're tapered and just perfect. And then I cut a little bit off of these outer corner lashes from Ardell and I applied those to the outer corner of those lashes and just applied them. And they're really beautiful. Okay, let's move on to contouring. This one was limited edition. I didn't realize till afterwards, but you can also pick up the Creamy Glow Duo number 4. And I'm taking this sculpting cream, which is really nice. It's really easy to blend. Cream contouring is gonna look more natural than powder contouring. And since this is a soft look, I don't want my contour to be out of control. And these ones just blend really nicely. So even if you're not necessarily the best at blending your contour, it's gonna look still pretty natural. And I'm applying it with that Artiste brush in just the sides of my face, my nose, under my cheekbones, and under my lip to give it that powderier look. I'm using a different brush for the nose. It's a pointed crease brush by Sigma because I just want it to be a little bit more precise. And then I'm gonna blend it in with the Artiste brush, and I'm going up and down and not down the bridge because if you go down the bridge, it's gonna actually make your nose look a little bit wider. So to clean that up, I'm just gonna apply a slight amount of that concealer from earlier with this airbrush concealer brush because it'll blend a light amount over it and just clean up those edges. And then I'm applying some of that Candlelight cream highlighter to the cheekbones and then down the nose, above my brow, so that it helps give it a little bit of lift. Then I'm applying a little bit of that light concealer to the sides of my lower lip so that it looks a little bit narrower there. And so the bottom lip is just gonna look poutier and fuller in the center. And then I'm gonna blend all of that in with my foundation brush. To set my face, I'm using the Laura Mercier Invisible Loose Setting Powder, which is more light diffusing than the translucent one, but it's not sparkly like the Secret Brightening one. And I'm applying that everywhere except for my highlighted areas. I'm going over that with the highlighting Celestial powder instead. And then I'm going to apply a blush. This is the Gwen Stefani one by Urban Decay. It's like a cool pink. And I'm making sure to really get the apples of my cheeks so that it's more of a soft look and not a sculpted look. I filled in my lips with the NYX lip pencil and applied the Anastasia Dainty lip gloss on top. And this is such a modern lip gloss. It's not sticky or super shiny. It's just the perfect amount of gloss. And then I went over the inner corners and the brow bones to brighten it a little bit, and we're done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked the look. I'm going to be recreating some of my recent looks from Instagram. I have some of those coming up. So follow me if you're not. And I want to do some in-depth ones soon. So leave me any suggestions below if you have any questions. See you next time. Bye.